Salve omnes, welcome back from break. This piece is titled The Botched Breakup. It's Aeneid Book 4, lines 279 through 303. So now we meet Aeneas again. Remember, if you can, that he was told by Mercury that he's got to stop playing husband and move on to do his official task and find a new Troy. So here we have him. But truly, Aeneas, raging or out of his mind, was dumbstruck at the sight, and his hairs, uh, you could either say were raised or having been raised in horror or on edge. And again, you could say, and his hair was raised, or I'm sorry, and his hair was raised in a straight line or in at attention or in horror, and his voice stuck in his throat. He burns to leave from flight, and to leave behind sweet lands. These are the Libyan lands, these are the lands that Dido, and he is astonished by such a great warning and by the commands of the gods. Alas, what should he do? All right, so here we have a subjunctive. This is a deliberative subjunctive, right? So he's actually contemplating what should he do. And then by which speech, by which address? Now, should he dare to approach the queen raging or the raging queen? And so quo actually goes down here. So again, we have another subjunctive. Again, a deliberative subjunctive, present subjunctive. Right? So you hear the word, what should he do? And then now to approach the raging queen. What first openings or what first beginnings should he take up? Again, a third subjunctive, right? Deliberative once again, right? So what should he do? Or contemplative. And he divides his mind, his swift mind, now here, now there. And he takes up or he snatches it up in various parts. And he turns it over everything, and he turns over or through everything. So we get the impression here that he's thinking quite a lot about this. And so again, now here, now there, right? And so now we're left down here. So this sentiment, this opinion seemed better or more powerful to him, meaning to Aeneas, wavering, alternating, thinking one then the other. Um, all right, a couple of grammar notes here. Visa est. Right, this verb is from the verb video, to see, but in the past tense or passive tense, it's going to be seemed, right, and it's also past. Alternanti is going to be, so it's usually with this construction of videor or visa est, seemed to someone to do something. So this is the participle, right? And now we're gonna see what course he's going to take. So Aeneas calls Nestheus and Sergestus and brave Serestus. So these are three men he's calling. Notice the lot or heavy use of conjunctions there. Perhaps polysyndeton. And then we have more subjunctives. So this is almost like a purpose clause, or he's calling them for the purpose of them doing some other task. So cogant, obtend, parent, and dissimulant are all subjunctives in what is probably going to be a purpose clause, but there's no there to tell us. We also have a subjunctive here too. Either it's a relative clause of characteristic with quai, or it can just be a present subjunctive within that. So he calls these three guys to prepare to outfit, or to silently, very quietly, outfit or equip the fleet, the ships, and to gather their comrades, their allies, to the shores, or to the shore, and to prepare the arms, the weapons, and to hide or to pretend or to feign the cause or that which, or that, yeah, that cause, or which is the cause for renewing these things. We have chiasmus, or I'm sorry, synchesis there. Okay, so here we stop at sese interrea, and so this is quite interesting. So there's supposed to be a dekete here, or Aeneas dekete. Aeneas says that he, meanwhile, or he says that meanwhile he, um, when best Dido should not know, and should or may not hope such great loves to be broken. So this is an example of a present passive infinitive. So rumpi is to be broken. And moving on, he would try or would attempt the approaches. He's trying to fill things out. And which times, so which times would be softest for speaking. So, right. So melissima, right? Mollis meaning soft. Melissima is the superlative, softest, right? So, and this is a gerund, softest for speaking. So he wants to kind of gauge to see if you can approach her and talk to her about this. And in temptorum, this is a future infinitive, or it could be a future participle. Probably a future participle. Uh, yeah. So you get the understanding of would attempt or would try the entreaties or approaches. So which way is right for the affairs? And here we have Okius, which is like Calarius, more swiftly, more quickly. All of his soldiers, or all of his comrades, happily obey the command. And they complete, or they finish the orders, or they carry out the orders. But the queen sensed, so we have sensita, sensed the tricks. Who may be able to deceive a lover, or who can deceive a lover. And first she took up future movements, or movements about to be. I'm sorry, and he, or and yeah, and she first took up future movements, fearing that everything, or fearing everything to be safe, fearing everything to be safe. The same, remember, same den thing, the same impious or hideous or loathsome, Fama, rumor, report, but it's capitalized here, so it's the goddess Fama, carried or reported to her raging. This again, to Dido, Didoni, to Dido raging. That. So this is all an indirect statement. And remember we saw Rumpi before? These are present passive infinitives here too. So to be equipped or to be prepared. So again, remember that this is detulit. This is it's supposed to be having or it's supposed to be carried or carried down. But here it's probably implied, reported, or announced to the one raging, so to Dido raging, that the ship is being or was being readied, and a course was being prepared. And she, kind of out of her mind, rages, and having been incensed, like a bacchanal, so and having been incensed, she rages through the entire city, just like Thias, having been stirred up with the sacred rites, having been begun, having been started, having been put into motion, literally. So put into motion. Where or when the Triterican mysteries are aroused, or when they arouse the Triterican mysteries, when or with Bacchus having been heard, with the name of Bacchus having been heard, and nocturnal Kitairon, and Kitairon is a mountain, calls to her in a shout. All right, so there you have it. Again, a couple quick grammatical points to point out. We talked about armari here and parari here being present infinitives, present passive infinitives being used there, with the tulit in kind of like an indirect statement. So something to look out for. We'll talk a little bit more about these in our warm-up practices. I'll hit you with a couple of those coming up. But here we have it. Aeneas trying to do the kindest, nicest breakup he can, fumbling over how to do it because it seems like he's conflicted. He doesn't want to leave her, but he has to. Um, but she discovers his plans to sneak away and all the work that's being done for him to quietly slip away. And as you can tell, with all the times that the word rage or raging is mentioned, she is not pleased at all with him. And it's something to note, too, that Bacchus, even though he's a friendly, kindly god and helpful god in most respects, there is something called the Bacchanalia, which is when a cult or worshipping got together to celebrate Bacchus, and they went crazy throughout the city, ripping their hair apart, ripping their gowns apart. It could get quite nuts, and they could literally tear it apart. So don't want to be stuck in a bacchanalia. All right, well, that's it for tonight. Walete omnes.